Well folks, welcome to the latest video. Well, we're going to take a look at this record pipe cutter. So we've been along to the house clearance shop and we found this quite a nice looking old vintage tool, and I did notice that it had quite a lot of oil put on it over the years, which has protected it from going badly rusty, but not from getting covered in dirt. So that means that it may be quite a good candidate for a restoration, so that will be the subject of this video. So thanks for watching, folks. So I guess the first thing to do is to make an effort to get the worst of the stuff off it. So this, what I'm doing now is just to get the real worst of it off, so that we can, the expression in the UK is, so that we can see the wood for the trees. These pieces here, I think these are the blades, which are probably made of hardened steel, which is why they bolted on separately. So there we have it, cleaned up. We're going to give that, I'll give that a scuzz over with a hard bristle brush first. Right, so that gets us ready to the point where we can undo some of the bolts. Okay, so all of the nuts on here seem to be square, so they won't take a ring spanner. But that on the back of there, that's a 12 apparently. It seems to be a 12 anyway. And then on the front here, I have these, which appear to be 11. So it's a bit strange having that on there like that. They don't seem to be stuck. Yep, so as I said, it was oiled, so they are coming off pretty easy really. So they just come off, and the nuts push right through, and then you have this blade here that comes off. Looks like it comes off in two pieces, so it comes off in like a clasp that goes across. That piece there will be hardened steel, I would think. So that's that off. So we're now left with this piece, and as you can see, there's nothing now to stop this from coming off. So I'll just wind that. Let's see if I can get it in the camera when I'm doing it. Right, so this area here, there's a square nut on the back and a square nut on the front, which is 11mm, which is a strange size actually, 11mm. That just pushes right through, and then these pieces here just come off. These are probably also hardened steel. They're the blades for gripping the pipe. So job done. Okay, so we need to get these two halves separated. This at the moment still doesn't unscrew. Okay, so in theory this has just got a flat chock on it, and it should just lever off. Oh, it does look excellent. So now that we've separated the two, should be able to just get the rest of the gunk out of there. And then we're in a position to clean this up with some turpentine. And got a fresh touch there. Okay, so this is the stage that we're at just now. We've kind of cleaned it up a little bit, and we need to do a bit more detailing on the metal. We have to straighten out that, because that's bent. This is the top clamp which screws down, and there's a blade which goes inside that. So these need to be brightened up a little bit with the file, just so they look a bit nicer than they do. Some of these screws are on the edge of being useful, so we've also got a missing nut there. You can just see there how bent it is. So. Okay, so just reassembling this after we've thoroughly cleaned it out, and it turns out that these pieces here, these are actually mild steel, whereas this one here, which goes in the centerpiece, this is definitely hardened steel, because it couldn't file it at all. So I have put 2 new nuts on this, because the other ones were just not brilliant, and one of them was lost anyway. Right, so that's reassembled. These are the bottom teeth, which you can see now. You probably couldn't see that before. Okay, so this is assembly of the central piece. You can actually see what these are now. I think it looks like there's remnants of blue paint in there. So these were probably blue originally, which is actually a pretty classic record colour. It says on the top of this, Record 91.5. So it's made by Record, which is a classic tool supplier, well known in the UK anyway. I don't know about other countries. And that makes it a branded item. So this is the slider, which goes underneath. So I put my fingers underneath it like that. So that is the hardened steel blade, which goes on top like so. And the other half of the slider, which clamps over, goes on like that. And then there's 2 original nuts, which are actually not very good. So I was going to replace them, but I may still do that. But just for the purpose of this demo, I think we'll leave them on. And when I got this, all of these were very loose. Okay, so when it's tightened up, it should look like this. And you can now see I've got a nice straight bar which has been straightened out with a hammer. It's not brilliant, but it's better than it was. So this is now the slider, which you move up and down in order to get the pipe. Okay, so that is going to be a bit rough because there is some roughness on it until it's been worked up and down a few times. So the top piece fits on like this, and you can see now the two jaws which grip the pipe with. Okay, so this particular nut is the biggest nut on the machine. The original one that I had for it was a square nut, like the one on the back, and it had very poor quality threads inside it. I'm not really sure why that is, but it wasn't very good anyway, and so I've replaced it with another one. So now that nut's in, it forms a hinge in which you can lift the thing to get the pipe into it, so that you don't have to thread the pipe through all the way. And then this piece here goes over the side there and hooks on, and then when you tighten the lever, basically there's enough here to keep the pressure on the pipe. So you can see when you turn the central thing, the blade comes down to grip the pipe, and you can go the other way to quite a long way actually, but obviously the pipe that you can fit in here is only that wide, so you only really get it that high anyway. These little tools can be used to create other types of presses, if you've got like a welding torch or something like that. Kind of interesting. So there we have it, folks, a Record 91.5 pipe grip, newly renovated and rescued from the scrap heap, and can now be used again or made into something else, which is maybe what I'm going to do. And maybe there'll be a video on that later on, who knows. Okay folks, thanks so much for watching, bye.